Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our real-time real results from 3 working days to instant pay, our webinar for today. Thank you for taking time out to join us this afternoon. My name is Patricia, and I'll be your host today. We are excited to have you with us today as we share more details about our newest feature, Instant Pay. Before we get started, we just want to set a few webinar rules. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can type it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. You all will have the opportunity to submit your questions to our speakers just by typing your questions. And you may also ask questions at any time during the webinar. We'll address and answer the questions during the Q&A session. The webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be sent to all registrants through email. It is my pleasure to introduce our 2 speakers for today's webinar. Introducing our first speaker, Jeremy Tan, Chief Executive Officer of Liquid Pay, and our second speaker, Chan Chiu Hao, Chief Operating Officer from JustLogin. A warm welcome to both of you. We are so glad to have you here today to share your insights and give us the preview of Instant Pay. Given the rapid developments across the payments landscape in recent years, businesses are better equipped than ever before to achieve greater flexibility and efficiencies in their processes. In today's webinar, you'll find out how you can cut your payroll lead time from 3 working days to a matter of seconds with Instant Pay, JustLogin's newest feature powered by Liquid now. You will also among the first to experience real-time payments to employee and get answers to any questions you have about Instant Pay. During this session, we'll cover 3 things: how payments have evolved and what this means for businesses, the benefit of real-time payments and HR for HR and finances, introducing Instant Pay, an exclusive first-hand look at how it works. And without further ado, let us welcome our first speaker, Jeremy Tan, to share his insight. Jeremy, over to you.
Thanks, Patricia. I'm going to share my screen. I just have a few slides I just want to put on. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I just put together a few slides just to do a rough intro of ourselves and talk about some payment trends before handing over to Chiu Hao, who will address the main meat of this presentation or this webinar itself. So let's start, giving a rough introduction of ourselves. On Liquid Group, just to set the context. So we are licensed in Singapore. So we are MPI, which is called a major payment institution in Singapore. And strangely enough, we are one of the 7 non-bank financial institutions that you may not know. We are on Fast and Pay Now rails itself. So in that sense, being a lot of you are familiar with GrabPay, a lot of you are familiar with Dash. Actually, Liquid itself is an operator, user, participant of Pay Now and Fast itself. So we're an account issuer. We issue money licenses, e-money issuance. Sorry, we do merchant acquisition. We do domestic and cross-border payments. Just to set things in context, this is the things that we do actually. So just a rough introduction of ourselves. We run a network across Asia. We're from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and most of Southeast Asia itself to do cross-border QR payments. We have an app called Liquid Pay, which you probably may have heard of us years ago. We are launching it very soon. So that's something that I'll put a tag for here. And very importantly, we do corporate payment services, which is actually the meat of this presentation or this webinar itself. So we do support obviously Pay Now for real-time payments domestically, and we do it cross-border. So the thing that I will address, or at least I've been asked to talk about, is some key payment trends. So I'll set the context of why what things are happening and how it relates to businesses itself. And there's the 2 things that I sort of mentioned. So I just have one very simple plug here. The 2 key payment trends that I'll talk about today, which also will lead to Chiu Han's conversation. This thing I call mobile, and this thing we call real time. A lot of us that use mobile payments now, I think are very familiar in wallets. They're familiar in Google Pay and Apple Pay. And this is a trend. We are halfway through probably a 20-year migration from electronic payments to digital. So what is electronic payments and how does it differ from digital payments? So in a sense, if you've all used electronic payments, and that's the days of smart cards, chip, tap, contactless, tap, NFC, those are electronics. And the reason why they call them electronics is because it uses electronics. There is a smart card somewhere. But now that has, and you've all experienced it as well, it has started changing. It's gone digital. It's basically in your phone now. And digital payments, QR payments is the first step of, comprehensive digital payment evolution. It's optical payments, actually. It's not QR that's the technology, it's the camera. So basically how you can use your camera and scan a QR, more and more things are being put in. People who have visited China will see how innovative digital payments have become. It's not about just tapping. You can scan a QR in space, you can scan a QR in the sky, you can scan a screen, and it's all based around the camera. So this is 10 years since. I think the first iPhone was launched in 07, 08. They started off the revolution in terms of digital mobile. But now payments have gotten, the entire different networks have already moved into digital payments. I think you're very familiar with PayNow in Singapore. But if you look across the region, almost every, if not every country has their own digital payments scheme. And that in the next 5 to 10 years will probably be the biggest change that you experience. And we're all part of it, and we're very excited to share it with you guys. The other thing is real time. We've all used real-time payments now. I mean, you've sent PayNow to your friends, you've used Fast on corporate payments, you use the TT or Gyro, and it takes a day, sometimes 2. But now it's real-time. It's so fast in the sense that when it was launched and us being so used to it, we didn't even realize what a big breakthrough that is. So now as you send money overseas, there's still a lag with people using TT and SWIFT. There's a whole bunch of different technologies that are being put in place. But what you can look forward to in the next months and years to come is that very soon, cross-border is also real-time. It's very drastic, it's very dramatic in terms of why real-time cross-border is important, because it's FX. When you can send your money close to real-time cross-border or cross-border real-time, effectively your FX becomes cheaper as well, because all your FX are real-time as well. So these are the 2 big trends itself from mobile. I think we've all seen it. But what I'm saying is that we're only halfway through that journey. Similarly, for real time, we're only halfway through that journey as well. So these are the 2 things that I want to talk about. I will hand it over to Chu Ha. I'm just keeping my presentation really, really short. I'm supposed to open it up for questions if people will have. But Patricia, it's a very short presentation that I'm doing. So I'm just putting it across. I'll take questions, else I'll lead it up to Chu Ha.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you for the information and also the sharing session. All right. So now let us welcome our next speaker, Chuan Chu Hao, to share with us on his insights. Chu Hao, over to you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. That was awesome. It was brief, but it was informative. And I think everyone's kind of excited to hear what's next, right? So we're very pleased and very excited to be working with Liquid. Actually, this collaboration with Jeremy was an idea that we've been hatching for the last 2 years. So it took us quite some time to get this into fruition. So today we're very happy to be able to share with you what we have accomplished together. And we would like to bring that technology that Jeremy was able to share, that his company has been building out over the last few years, for the last few decades, right? And now we actually are sharing it. We are kind of putting this into HR as well. I think we want to address one of the key challenges of salary payments. So with this, let me share my deck. Yeah, let me know if you can see the page. All right, everyone can see my page? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So today I'd like to proudly announce the launch of Instantpay. Okay, real-time, real results. So what is effectively Instantpay? Okay, Instantpay is the latest, JustLogin's latest salary payment facility. Okay, in partnership with Liquid Group, that allows companies to pay employees immediately. Right? When I say immediately, it's almost instantly through the fast network, transfer network within Singapore. So this technology that you see now, you do pay now and etc. It's now available through salary payments as well. You might be thinking, hey, it's the same as me doing an upload into some of the banks and doing all that through Gyro. Not really, but let me share with you why is it different. Let's take a look at what's happening today. most of you are really kind of used to doing electronic salary disbursement. Some of you might still be using checks. I'm not sure, but generally most customers that we've spoken to, a lot of them are already doing what you call gyro salary payments, right? You download a bank file using JustLogin and you upload it. So the process right now, as it is using JustLogin, it looks like this. In JustLogin, you process your payroll. Usually this happens a couple of days before the payday, okay? And then you'll download the salary payment bank file of that particular bank that you're banking with. Let it be OCBC, DBS, UOB, you name it. It's the right bank file format. We support over 20 world banks in Singapore, so you can find a bank file that supports you. And then you physically have to download the file on your own PC, and then open up your another browser, right? And go into the bank portal, and then upload the bank file into the bank portal, all right? And then you have to maybe call up your CEO, your finance CFO, your finance director, whichever is in charge of approving transactions, and he has to go in to the system and approve the transactions, okay? And then what will happen is that your employees will receive their salaries usually about 2 to 3 days later, depending on when you are able to upload the bank file, okay? So everyone's very, very clear about this. It's quite standard. Everyone's doing it now. But one of the key challenges that we always find is during this process, when during the uploading of bank file, every time they near the end of the month, we get a lot of complaints, right? Customer will call in and says, oh, you know what, the bank site is down, or maybe, oh, there's a Java issue, or the application doesn't work, or the file's corrupted, or something is missing, and all that little challenges that you face as HR administrators, especially when you deal with the banks, and they are constantly improving and uploading and changing the formats of these bank files. So these bank files as well, they go through regular updates by the banks. So sometimes the bank files changes the format, and we don't know about it, and they don't inform all the vendors, and next thing you know, your file doesn't work. So we're always having this challenge near the end of the month, which everyone's scrambling to make pay run, because you have a cutoff time, and then you'll probably face a lot of stress at that point. So what's happened next then? I mean, so for this case right now, how does Instantpay works? Okay, in Instantpay, with our collaboration with Liquid Group, this is how it works now with Instantpay. Within JustLogin, you can actually run your pay run and approve your pay run within JustLogin. There's no need for you to open up your bank portal, no need for you to go into another application. You just approve it within JustLogin. Then we will send the payment instructions to Liquid Group, okay? And Liquid Group, because they will already have an e-gyro arrangement with you, that means if you would be interested in this service, you will pre-sign an e-gyro arrangement with Liquid Group, and Liquid will actually send the instructions to the bank, and the money will be immediately transferred via e-gyro to Liquid, and Liquid will send it out via the fast network payment immediately to employees. And all this process happens within a few seconds, right? Within a few seconds. The whole process from pulling your funds out from your bank and sending out to your employees happens within a few seconds. The money doesn't even sit inside Liquid for more than half a second, if I may say, right? So effectively, what happens is that it shortens your whole payroll time. So why Instantpay? If you think about it, before Instantpay, okay, you have to run the payroll for a few days, right? Run the pay run for a few days before payday. All right. You need to download the bank file of your respective banks. You need to upload and approve the bank file. And usually bank portals have a cutoff time. For example, DBS only operates on Monday to Friday before 6 p.m. So if you're going to run a pay run on Friday, if you miss the 6 p.m. deadline, the next window will be on Monday. And you have to do it one day before you're supposed to do the payment date, right? Your payment date. And the funds, unfortunately, are only available one day after payment date. So if you tell the bank you're paying on the 3rd, right? Your employees only get the money on the 4th, even though it's technically been removed from your bank account on the 3rd. So with Instantpay, the whole process is shortened significantly. Payroll admin runs the payroll, confirms the payroll amount in JustLogin. The business owner or approver approves the pay run within JustLogin via SingPass, and salary is dispersed immediately within seconds of final approval. That's it. So you can imagine the whole process, now, and there's no limits, as in you can run the pay, there's no cutoff time. You can run this, you can process pay run, you can disperse salaries at 11:59 p.m. at night. And at 12 a.m. in the morning, everybody will get their pay in their wallets for immediate use. So now you can imagine for HR practitioners, you can actually run your payroll a few hours before the close of the payday. So this will significantly reduce the stress. Because then you have more time to deal with any variables that happen in between from the last few days, right? So you can process this as late as you need to. And we support most of the banks that is on the fast payment Plus network. So these are all the banks that support on the Plus network itself. Pretty much most of the banks the employees have. All right. And however, for the e-Giro payment, that means your corporate bank, we support these banks for the e-Giro. That means these are the banks that we will need to do a pre-approved e-Giro arrangement, so that they will be able to pull funds from your bank account to send out to your employees. So this is it. This is basically what's been happening on our side. We have been hard at work in building this technology. It may sound a very simple technology, but there's a lot of back and forth behind and this is all built into our HR system. Okay, now I'll do a simple demo on how this functionality actually works on our system. Let's share. Okay, I'm going to share the desktop. Let's take a look. Okay, right now you're looking at JustLogin itself. Okay, I just finished running my pay run for December 2020. So you see that everything works, everything has been approved nicely. All the employees have been approved according to the salaries and etc. Right? You've done the pay run. Now, what happens next is for you to use Instantpay. For those of you who are very familiar, you can go to our file generation tab, and now you will see a new column called Instantpay. And similarly, like how you process your other bank files in the past, choose the month that you are processing your salaries, and the magic is here. You just choose all the employees that you want to pay via Instantpay. It's optional. It doesn't have to. You still want to, if you want to process only a few employees that for Instantpay, feel free to select less. If you want, you can select all. All right. But however, some banks that are not supported, we will automatically blank it up. So you can see, like for example, Michael Smith. He's using the State Bank of India, which we have not support. Is not on the fast payment network. So you'll be blanked out. You will not be able to send payment to him. So you probably have to do another method then. And with this, all you need to do is send for approval. In this case, they'll be sent to Mr. David Jones, who's the approver, and this is his email. And they also show you the amount that is being paid. And all the settings that you need to do which is one-time setting, is right in the top one corner, which will show you which is the originating bank, what's the bank account number, and all the details. So there's no need for you to go to another user interface, another portal to do all this setup. Just do it once, and from then on, you can actually use Instantpay within the system, and then send it for approval. That's it. And what happens next is that the approver will get an email. And the approver will get the email to tell you exactly which pay run is it for, or which pay period, and how much is the total amount of salaries that's going to be paid out. The customer can go on straight away to log in, and then, the approver can go straight to log in to see, and from then on, he can go into the system and log in and take a look at his, immediately when he logs in, it will be able to show that he has an Instantpay approval that needs to be done. It'll show the details of which bank is going to pay out to, the bank account number, and the amount. Okay, once that's done, and the total amount that's going to be pulled from your bank account, and once that's done, he approves it. And with this, everyone immediately gets the salary. So you can see that this whole process is matters within a few minutes. It's done. Your salary is paid out. Your employees have gotten the money into their bank account. And all this is done in the flash. So this is how straightforward and simple we built it. There's not much demo. There's not much to do. It's just a matter of selecting employees, determining how much to send, sending the approval to approve, and that's it. And for the approval to work, what will happen is that he needs to log in via SingPass into his account. Once that's done, it's approved, we'll be able to authenticate who is the approver. All right. Okay, that's the straightforward, simple demo. We see some questions popping in.
Thank you, Chu Hao, for the sharing session and also the exciting demo. And now we have come to the Q&A session. So everyone, if you have any questions, just type it in the Q&A box and our speakers will be able to answer all the questions. So before I open up the floor to the audience, I have a question for Chu Hao and Jeremy. All right, so if just say that so far, is there any feedback from the businesses that's using Instantpay?
So far, the users that have been using, we have been testing it extensively internally. The happiest person that we know is our HR manager. Ever since his Instantpay, he could run pay run on the last hour of the day of the month, and then there's no stress whether or not the bank file will work, whether or not salaries are being received on time, and etc. So that is something that it's been a very good experience for our team.
Okay, thank you so much, Chu Hao. So let's just take some of the questions from the audience today. So our first question, can this be done for freelancers and or part-timers, or only for full-time staff? If a registration is required, is it payable per employee registered in the system? Okay,
I'll answer live to this. Can this be done for freelance? Yes, you can. As long as the system, as long as the data is within JustLogin, you can run it like any other pay runs. You can do it ad hoc pay runs, and then you can actually just disperse out the salaries almost immediately. So, so if the registration is required, is it payable per employee registered in the system? Well, is it? So okay, that. What do you mean by payable per employee in the system? Yes, that the employee needs to be in our system effectively. So how would that licensing cost or whatever? I think that depends on your current contract with us, and definitely we can work out something in that works for you.
All right. Thank you, Chu Hao. And there's 3 similar questions. More like can we have dual authorization instead of 1 person? Can you set 2 approvals? So people want to know that just now during the demo, it was just 1 approval, right? So how if it's 2?
Yeah, so currently our system is designed for one main approval, and usually that will straight away be you know, be set to to usually the financial last business owner. So because on the other hand, you don't forget that there's always a pay run that you need to get approved on. So that will probably be your first approval, right? Approve the pay run, and then next thing you know, that pay run can be sent out to approval. But definitely it's worth a thought, something that we can probably build it in our roadmap. If the interest is there, we can definitely look at multi-approvers. But it's good suggestion, good feedback. This is our first rollout, so feel free to give us any feedback that we think will help us improve our product.
Okay, so there's another question from Myra. Is Instantpay a separate feature that employer is required to pay on top of the monthly JustLogin charges?
Currently, we are running a promotion, which means that from now till end of March, there's no fees payable to use the system. The pricing is still being determined at this stage, but if there is, it'll probably be how the banks charge for usage of such like your gyro fees, which is something like 50 cents per pay or something like that. So the cost we're working very hard with Liquid to keep it to the bare minimum. But if there is, it'll be similar to the bank charges that you're currently paying if they use FastPay.
All right, then the next question from Sophia. Hi, we are using SMBC Bank. Will Instantpay deducted immediately from SMBC?
I can answer that, but I think Jeremy, you have a thought on that, whether you can do an e-gyro.
Actually, I don't think SMBC actually. I don't have it offhand. Remember Chu, how you had that slide that mentioned which are the highs from gyro? I don't recall seeing SMBC. It was mainly the local banks itself. Okay, the restriction is this. So how this works is because the e-gyro system, as put into the platform, allows us to seamlessly pull the money out on the fast rails. So if the bank is not on e-gyro, that means they've not put themselves onto the platform. We can't use e-gyro on that. There might be a manual way which I can look on, but Chuhao, I think that one is something that we probably can enhance on the platform as well. We can potentially look at it from a manual perspective, but the e-gyro perspective, I think as this slide has shown, as unfortunately SMBC is not on e-gyro.
Yeah, so there is a possibility for us to do a manual method, but that means you have to wire the money to you have to activate a wire, into a clearing account with Liquid Group, and then they will disperse out. So with that, I mean, that process, then it makes it a little more clumsy because you might as well just use your bank process strict pay employees, right? So I think the main point here is the e-gyro. Yes, these are the supported banks. Once your bank gets an e-gyro platform, then we can do the fast pull and send it out quickly.
Correct.
All right. Thanks, Chuhao. Thanks, Jeremy. And we have another question. We have contract for service with freelancer. Can this be set up in JustLogin and with this Instantpay?
Contract for service, yes, it can. Of course you can. It's just like we'll treat them in the system itself. It doesn't matter whether within JustLogin, it doesn't matter whether the employee is a full-time salaried worker or a part-time or a freelancer. Right, so we can just put it into the system as a normal salaried worker. It's just that in their case, they are not employees, right? But then they will have bank accounts, right? So we can definitely put that on. You can just run it as just like any other employee.
Okay, and the next question is just add on to the question that you've answered previously. We practice 2 approvals by board, so the current system only allow 1 approval. Am I right to say that?
Yes, the current system only allow for 1 approver. Yeah. So yes. So today there's a lot of requests for 2 levels of approvals. Great feedback. This is something we can probably work with our tech team to see it. How we can get about doing that, but it's a good feedback. I mean, yeah.
And the last question: can this work for TT?
So let me jump in on this element.
Sure.
TT, I'm just going to assume cross-border transactions. So actually not today, but very, very soon. So as I did the initial introduction of how we are also a cross-border payment company. So as a feature, it's the same thing. The integration that we've done with JustLogin, whether it's a domestic rails or cross-border sales, it'll be the same. And when we turn on the cross-border leg, which requires just a little bit more work, then you can do it from this perspective to send salaries overseas as well. Yeah. But integration in terms of partnership, in terms of the work that you need to be done, it's already completed as one integration itself, because it's just the rails, because it's about us sending it through FAST or sending it on a Swift network. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeremy. And thank you for this session, Chu Hao and Jeremy. If those employees whose bank not supported on this platform, any suggestion to work around that?
If I could sort of jump in, because if the bank is not on this platform, that means it's not the company's bank account, but rather the employee's bank account, which is basically, I think there's about 20 over banks on it. So unfortunately, PayNow and FAST for real time, these banks, for them to even receive real time, they have to be on FAST itself. So I think, the workaround, obviously, as Chu Hao has demonstrated, that names unfortunately have to go through TT. Is a separate element, which if that's an interesting request, because usually we can do this. A lot of banks support already, salary payments. But if we want to automate it together, I think if that can be carved out, I think that's another product iteration we can work with JustLogin, and we can also send it on TT. It's just not real time, unfortunately, because it's not so much of the limitations are because the employee banks are not on the fast rails, so it will be slower for them anyway. Yeah.
So Jeremy, I mean, for that, I have an idea, right? I mean, hypothetically, since you have a wallet, with is on and does it have a virtual bank account that maybe they can, if it does have a virtual bank, they can input that into that bank account, right? And as part of the employee payouts, and then use your wallet for
into FAST, because our wallet's connected to FAST. Yes, that's a good idea as well. So if you have employees who are not, whose bank they're using are not on FAST network, we can work out an arrangement with JustLogin where we can easily onboard and create accounts, because those are all on FAST networks itself. And then the money will be real time, and then then effectively the funds are already on FAST and on the network, and they can decide what they want to do with it. They can send money to their friends, they can receive, they can scan QRs, they can do that. Yeah. That's a good idea. That's thanks. That's a good use of a wallet. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a in-between ground, let the employees collect the money up in the wallet. So for those employees that, you don't want to collect their bank accounts, like, it's too much trouble. Here you go, get a Liquid Group's wallet, Liquid Pay, send the money over, and then, we can disperse it out from there.
Yeah.
So this
because
is something
it's effectively on PayNow, so you can decide what you want to do with it from there. Yes, exactly.
So there you go. We have a solution for that. Feel free to explore with us. If you're interested, please ping us directly, and we can definitely work out some arrangement for you.
Thanks, both. And we have an add-on question.
Jeremy, has something else? Jeremy,
I think Sophia is trying to clarify.
Yes, correct.
The company is using SMBC Bank and all Stacks Bank account. Staff, is it? I think staff bank account is under your eGiro, mainly DBS, UOB. Can this possibly be using them? So the company itself is not on FAST itself, but the employees, chances are can receive real time. So as you have mentioned, there is two legs to it. That means we can't claw from SMBC because they're not on eGiro. There are different ways around it. As Chu has mentioned, in the SMBC can just send it to a clearing account, because we operate a clearing account in Singapore. We're considered a non-bank financial institution, so we look like a bank, but we're not one. But we do have an account that SMBC can send the fund across, and then we disperse it out at one go to all employees on this network itself. So as again, the restriction on this is because SMBC is not on eGiro, but they can still manually or using FAST transfer the funds to a clearing account and be sent out. So a little bit more manual because it's not eGiro, but it can be done as well. Yes.
So just to clarify a little bit, in case this part gets a bit confusing because of different banks, for salary payments, that means the employee's bank account, these are the supported banks, all right? Employee side. So these are all, as long as your employees are on these banks, they will be able to get the money via FAST. Okay. These are the one that is for the company accounts that needs to be on eGiro in order for this to work on real time. So if your company bank, which are you pulling out funds from to pay your employees, this will be the supported banks that your corporate funds need to be in. Okay, so slightly different here. So these are previously this page is for the employees. As long as their employees are all on these banks, they can get the money. Whereas for this page, it shows that as long as your company bank accounts are in these banks, we can do this all in real time. This whole process will work in real time. I hope that helps clarify. All right.
Thank you for the clarification, Bert. The next question, if you come on board the system, what do we need to do? Example, do a one-time update of employee list or use existing list, which is already on our JustLogin.
You can use existing lists on JustLogin. Any list that you have, all the bank account numbers, all these will work as long as the banks our system will detect which banks support it, which banks are not. So you can use the existing list. All right.
All right, thanks, Shuhao. And we'll take one more question. Is there a way to group employees? Example, group 1 paid end months and group 2 paid mid-month. Can they also be paid a few times a month? Example, salary, claims, and overtime.
Yeah, you can pay as many times as you want. We have no restriction to that. You can pay ad hoc payment method. You can pay on monthly payment method. It's up to you, right? So our system allows you to pay on different times and any way you like. Just like what you said, you can be paid. You can be paid a few times a month. Salary, overtime, routine, overtime's up to you. So there's no restriction, and all can go through FastPay.
All right, and one more question from Wai Hong. A follow-up question: what's the subscription like, by per employee or monthly?
What's the subscription like? There it's no subscription fee. Okay. As long as you're JustLogin customer, you will be able to use this service. But right now, we have a promotion till March, which all these services totally free. That means there's no transaction fee yet. If there is a transaction fee based on current market prices, it's approximately about 50 cents per employee transaction. So yeah, so it's very minimal. We're trying to keep it as low as possible, but this is still something that we're discussing and we're pricing in. But if there is one, there will just be 50 cents per employee per transaction. That's it.
Okay, and one more question. Can Instantpay be applied for payment to statutory, like PCB, EPF per case? So this is for Malaysia, basically. So yeah, for Malaysia.
Yeah, unfortunately, this system is not available in Malaysia at this stage, unless Jeremy have any input
from a
on this?
transfer perspective, as we mentioned, whether it's domestic or cross-border, so whether it's a consumer account or a corporate account, an EPF or CPF account, CPF in Singapore account, it's the same to us. Yeah, but for cross-border, as I said, it's coming soon. We would probably work with JustLogin to do another session if people are interested in really cross-border payments. It's actually very soon, but we just want to mention that when you can do cross-border, you can do cross-border to EPF or various corporate accounts itself, because it's just an account, whether it's a consumer account or a corporate government account. The difference is whether it's local or cross-border. So domestically, if we can do some workaround, we can definitely send to any domestic payouts itself. But for cross-border, if we do the cross-border salaries, we can also do it to a cross-border corporate itself. The ones the cross-border leg is lifted up. Yeah.
So for Ms. Myra, I think the question, if you are from Malaysia itself, right now we are looking at options within Malaysia to implement this. But as far as I know, the do it now, it's still in development for these kind of transactions. But we are working at some financial institutions within Malaysia to implement a similar setup. So stay tuned. We'll definitely keep you posted when this is available. We're looking at doing this in 2023.
Yeah. So my comment was relating from Singapore paying all the way up to Malaysia.
Malaysia, yeah.
Okay, thank you both. So one last question. Are there any certain requirements for businesses to use Instantpay?
Sorry, where are there any?
Yep, this is from private. Are there any certain requirements for businesses to use Instantpay?
There's no real requirement as long as you're a legit business. So what happened is that we will require certain documents from you because unfortunately for this to work really well, you need to open up an account with Liquid Group itself. So for Liquid itself, they require a certain set of documents, which we have kept it very simple. It's just basically a company's ACRA, some a bank account statement, some IDs from the owners, and that will be able to get us approved. We should be able. We are looking at onboarding a company to this payment within it could be a short time, within a few days, or maybe a maximum 1 week or so. So we will be able to try to keep it as simple as possible, and we've kept the documentations required to be very minimal just to keep this going, because there's financial money involved, so we have to follow the MAS regulations for this.
Yeah, so just to jump in with Chu Hao John, there's just certain regulatory requirements where we just have to know who and where we are sending the money to. So as Chu Hao mentioned, we just need to understand who the customer is, which is basically, if you've opened a bank account or digital bank account, is the same idea. It's a very minimal amount of information, but there is still some information that will be collected, and then we'll just, it can be done within a few days, as Chu Hao mentioned. Yeah.
All right. Then we've come to the end of our Q&A session. Thank you, Chu Hao and Jeremy, for the insightful information, and thank you all for the questions. And I hope that this webinar is a fruitful session for us all. If any of the participants you want to know further about Instantpay, JustLogin, how these two platforms works together, reach out to us. You can follow us on our social media on JustLogin, Facebook and LinkedIn for the latest update. And then for more info, you may also log into justlogin.com. And for our Malaysia audience, you may visit us at justlogin.com.my. So thank you everyone for joining the webinar today, and thank you Jeremy and Chu Hao. And we are signing off for today's webinar, and we hope to see you again in our upcoming webinars. Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.